All right, very, very fascinating as the world turns. Oil down big today. Oil's down 8%, okay, and I got it here someplace. Crude, let's see, West Texas is down to $67.71 last reading, and Brent crude, which is European crude, maybe more to the point with respect to Iran and the Straits of Hormuz, $70.65. It's a hell of a thing. Plus, stocks went up 375 points on the Dow. Maybe we should have war all the time. Taylor Riggs, co-host of the Big Money Show right here on Fabulous Fox Business, and E.J. Antoni, Unleashed Prosperity Senior Fellow. You know, actually, all along, there hasn't been any big crisis. Nobody's really believed the Strait of Hormuz story. They've tried sort of before in the past, but they haven't succeeded. And I just think, I'm going to get to the Israeli stock market, which has outperformed everybody. We'll get to those numbers in a minute. But basically, I think these traders, you know, they take a look at the story and see how, you know, what the specifics are. But they think something good is happening from all this, that the bombing of those nuclear centers and so forth is actually a very good thing. You know, that echoes one note I read this morning where it said the big black swan event in the Middle East was a nuclear Iran. You just took out the black swan event. Yes. So AI now can flourish in the Middle East. We can go back to talking about Saudi Arabia and UAE because the last thing they wanted was nuclear Iran to destabilize that region. So you could argue that that's in part what helps drive the NASDAQ today, right? David Bahnsen also said the biggest risk to markets right now is the S&P 500 trading at 23 times. It's not geopolitical risk because, again, especially, and EJ was on with me during my show, throughout the 1 o'clock and the 2 o'clock hour, you started to see the escalation, Iran, you know, retaliating, and then we were all like, okay, well, at least for now, the market is assuming that was it, right? Is that the tip for tat? And can we all go back to sort of a pro-growth, disinflationary scenario that you absolutely see within the oil markets? We're going to get tax cuts and Fed easing before you know it. But it's other interesting, EJ, the Israel stock market index, the Tel Aviv 125, or the TA 125 as it's called, rose for 5 straight sessions as of the end of last week. Now, that's pre-bombing. The unemployment rate in Israel, despite the bombing, is still 3% unemployment. That's a very low rate. Shows how strong the economy is. Here's another little factoid. Between surprise Hamas attacks that prompted the start of the Gaza war nearly 2 years ago and Israel's strike on Iran on June 12th, that war, the Tel Aviv 125 total return, including dividends, was about 46%. In other words, if you had bought Israeli stocks on the eve of the October 7th, 2023 massacre, horrible, hideous massacre, okay, and you held it, you would have made 46%. That is unbelievable. That is just unbelievable. Now, that is a vote of confidence in long-run Israel outlook, it seems to me.
And I think what both the Israeli and the American markets are kind of broadcasting to us at this point is that the last 72 hours have largely been performative almost. I mean, we even heard from the president this afternoon that apparently Iran gave us a heads up that the missiles were coming in today. I mean, it really is as if they are just trying to save face and nothing more.
So if you talk to Art Laffer, who we'll get on this week, he was in Israel 3-4 weeks ago. We were talking, and, you know, Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, who has now become a Churchillian war leader, in my humble opinion, but he was the finance minister for many years, going way back, and essentially changed Israel from a socialist labor union party-driven economy to a free market, entrepreneurial, high-tech economy, which, by the way, has access to a lot of oil and gas reserves in the Eastern Mediterranean as well. So that's powerful stuff. If peace is breaking out, if such a thing is possible, let's hope. Israel, I mean, look at the stock market performance. Stocks are supposed to look ahead. Well, what's so funny, too, is how diversified we've become. I was looking at the stats from
Iraq invades Kuwait in 1990. Oil jumps. The S&P 500 plunges 20% in 2 months. Then it rebounds 6.5%. We get involved in January 91. By April of 91, the stock market rallies an additional 24%. So that shows you the equity markets, the resilience, and more importantly today, more of the dynamic diversification economy that we have, even relative to 30, 40 years ago, where imagine 30, 40 years ago when we're taking out a nuclear site and oil is down 7 to 8%. That shows that blink and you miss it. We're a net oil exporter almost.
Here it comes.
And we're doing it.
No, that's right. Almost. You're right. Today's Wall Street Journal. Iran has an oil card to play. So does the U.S., and it's all about fracking. It's all about fracking, and it's all about deregulation of fracking, hydraulic fracturing. We could pour more oil out if we have to. Strait of Hormuz would do enormous damage to China, which buys most of its oil from that part of the world. Certainly Iran, which is an oil producer and a backward, horrible state now anyway. But we have our own oil weapon, and we're not going to be hogtied by this. That's another thing that's going on here.
Absolutely. And like we saw from the president, the whole drill, baby, drill message, right? Yeah. He reiterated that today.
And one big, beautiful bill has permitting reform in it. It's hugely important. Nobody's talking about it. They're all talking about, the salt deduction, which is the stuff drives me crazy. Who cares about it? Permitting reform.
Right.
And if you have $60, $70 a barrel, you can make good money on that. Fracker independents can make money on that.
Certainly, and the big, beautiful bill, I think, builds on what Doug Burgum at Interior has already done in terms of, some different kinds of permitting reform. He was telling me in a conversation a couple of months ago, they have actually taken permitting processes that used to take 2 whole years and shrunken that down into just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So again, they've done a lot on their end.
Flag that. This article says you can get it out the door in a month.
Did you see what Kathy Hochul did today? Opening up, announcing a new nuclear power plant because she likes Trump's fast-tracking permitting.
This is astonishing.
With Constellation Energy.
Absolutely astonishing.
Brave new world.
She's no offshore windmills and
nuclear.
Whales are coming up the beach in New Jersey. This is extraordinary.
I know.
The other thing you told me is extraordinary. Austin Goolsbee wants a lower interest rate now. You said
well, don't put words in my mouth.
Friend of mine.
Waller and Bowman may be called for July, and Austin Goolsbee today said, tariffs aren't as inflationary as we thought. Imagine that.
I knew him way back when, pre-Obama, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this, Austin, I hope you hear this. When he takes his partisanship hat off, he is a very good economist. He always was. This is very heartening. And you're right about Mickey Bowman. And you know what? Jay Powell should worry about his own knitting, not trade policy, which is not part of anything. He should worry about his own knitting. The inflation rate's coming down. The economy ain't that great anyway. We need one big, beautiful bill. The Austin Goolsbee. Hochul's okay, but the Austin Goolsbee thing.
I see it come with good nuggets
personally,
for you,
it
don't
has
I?
a personal feel to it. I've known him so long. E.J. Antoni and Taylor Riggs. And, of course, you can get Taylor on The Big Money Show along with her co-hosts Brian Brenberg, Jackie DeAngelis, and Dagan McDowell. Weekdays, 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fabulous Fox Business every day.